A day-long concert event helped raise funds for an accessible baseball field, and ONTV was there. Golling GMC held their final car cruise of the season, and the turnout was tremendous. The Walking Dead roamed the streets of downtown Lake Orion, unofficially kicking off the Halloween season, and the Lake Orion Dragons rolled over Troy Athens to even their record at 2-2. ONTV's Joe Johnson will have the highlights. Hello everyone, I'm Stacy Calloway. I'll have those stories and more on this edition of ONTV News. Over the past year or so, the Lake Orion community has been working furiously to raise the funds needed to build an accessible ball field at Friendship Park. Recently, a day-long concert event helped organizers get closer to their goal. On Saturday, September 15th, the community was invited to come out to Orion Township's Wildwood Amphitheater for the 2018 LO Palooza. Now in its fifth year, the event offers music, food, and fun for the entire family. 8 musical acts performed throughout the day-long event, including the 2XL Band and Trippin' Dixie. Jill Jack was the headliner at the end of the evening. Motor City Cornhole organized a cornhole tournament, and 16 vendors were set up on the grounds of the amphitheater, offering a portion of their proceeds to the cause. The event acted as a fundraiser for a proposed Miracle League field.
Today we have tons of activities for the kids that are free. 12 and under are free to get in. Adults are $20, but it's an amazing day of music and awesome food and good times, a beer tent. And we added liquor this year, and everybody's coming out to support the new Miracle League of North Oakland.
The Daisy Project Michigan has teamed up with Easter Seals Michigan to construct an accessible ball field at Friendship Park. Proceeds generated by LO Palooza will help make this project possible.
We've been talking a lot about it. Our Miracle League field, we called it Orion on Deck for a while, but it's officially, we partnered with Easter Seals of Michigan, and it's going to be a Miracle League of North Oakland. Independence Township, Orion Township, and Easter Seals have partnered.
We actually got brought into this by Orion Township and Independence Township to help them build this Miracle League baseball field. In fact, we have another field just south of us that provides opportunities for kids and adults and families to all enjoy the game of baseball. Otherwise, they wouldn't normally have the opportunity. So we have about 400 kids playing there now and about 1,000 volunteers, and you know, it's really magical. It truly makes you fall in love with baseball all over again, and it's not at all about baseball.
This project is important because it's inclusive. People with disabilities get to play with everybody else. They play with the buddy on a field, and everybody gets together. And these are relationships that are going to be lifelong, and a great experience for able-bodied people too.
We want to raise as much as we can, because the more we raise, the more amazing things we can do there. So we did last year, we raised for the Orion on Deck, which is now that money has transitioned into the Miracle League field. So we raised about 170 there. And then also that we're partnering with Independence Township and another private individual. And Independence Township and this private individual hosted a golf outing, and they raised close to $100,000 at the golf outing. And then, so then we're doing this, so we're still raising money. There's still opportunities to sponsor the baseball field. So you can find all that on Facebook or the website for the Miracle League of Michigan, and they'll have all the information if anybody's interested in sponsoring.
Organizers are hoping to break ground on the ball field in late September or early October. If you missed out on LO Palooza, it's not too late to help make a difference. For more information, you can visit thedaisyprojectmi.com or easterseals.com/Michigan. The first day of fall arrived on September 22nd, which pretty much signals the end of the car cruise season, but one local car dealership decided to go out with a bang. On Saturday, September 15th, Golling GMC hosted its 5th and final car cruise of the season. The grand finale Super Cruise hosted approximately 250 classic cars and hot rods in the dealership's parking lot. Visitors enjoyed music and food while supporting a worthy cause. Each monthly car cruise benefited a local nonprofit organization.
When the dust settles this year, we're probably going to be well over $10,000, $12,000 in donations to local charities, and it goes right to them. I mean, there's nothing gets between us and them. So we fund everything, we pay for everything here, and so all the money goes straight to the charities.
Benefiting from the Super Cruise was Orion Area Youth Assistance, an organization of volunteers who work with young people to strengthen families.
It's an amazing honor for us to be chosen by Golling. They're an incredible supporter of the community, incredible supporter of our program, and we just couldn't be more grateful for their support. Our mission is to strengthen youth and families and through community involvement. We've got volunteers who work and run our whole program. We do short-term counseling and casework services, provide scholarships for families with financial need for summer camp and after-school activities, mentoring, anything we can do to help build strong youth and families.
On the day before the Super Cruise, Golling staff and volunteers spend 10 to 12 hours moving inventory to make room for the event. They spend the same amount of time the day after to put everything back in place.
First of all, I got to give a big shout out to Bill Kokanis, who organizes this whole thing, and he does it as a volunteer and does a great job. But my crew gets behind it. They get in here and we start on Thursday late afternoon, early evening, and we do a few things to prep. And of course, Bill has been working for months and months and months. Even starts like tomorrow, we'll start talking about next year. And why do we still do it? We still do it because we want to be really a part of what's good in the community.
Organizers are already planning for next year's car cruise season, which will kick off in May of 2019. There's a chill in the air. Spooky decorations and costumes are in stores, and zombies were spotted roaming the streets. I guess that means the Halloween season is underway. On the evening of Saturday, September 15th, The Walking Dead assembled in downtown Lake Orion for the start of the 5th annual Zombie Walk. Unofficially kicking off the Halloween season, dozens of participants gathered at Ed's Broadway gift and costume for the start of the walk, then staggered on over to Fork and Pint, Lockhart's Barbecue, and Valentino's before closing out the night at the American Legion.
It started off as my birthday party. My wife asked me what I wanted to do, and I told her, let's do a zombie walk. And then it just kind of grew from there. People, you know, instead of giving us gifts or giving me gifts for my birthday, then we decided that, you know, we would rather have them make a donation to the lighted parade.
Those taking part in the poker run received a playing card in a sealed envelope at each stop. At the final location, the envelopes were opened and the winning hand splitting the cash pot. The proceeds generated from the event went to the Orion Area Parade Group, the organizer of Lake Orion's annual lighted Christmas parade.
It's you know, a lot of laughs. It's great. You know, I mean, so many of the people are creative. It's like wild what you know people are doing. Like Jennifer right here. Yeah, I know, we're all pointing to Jennifer. Yeah, right.
Do you think some people who are just down here eating dinner or whatever, do you think they get a little surprised when they see what's going on?
They're all wondering what the hell's going on because it's funny to see the looks on their face, and the kids, you know, they're like, holy cow, what's going on here? So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Lake Orion's lighted Christmas parade is scheduled for Saturday, December 1st. This year's theme is Rocking Down Broadway. For more information or to find out how you can get involved, visit orionlightedparade.org. Throughout the year, the Orion Art Center hosts numerous art exhibits showcasing the work of local artists. Recently, they held their 5th and final show of 2018. On the evening of Friday, September 21st, the Orion Art Center kicked off its annual Artist Lens photography show with an opening reception at their Moose Tree studio. Dozens of photographs were on display, ranging from portraits to landscapes.
Such a wide range of not only subject, but age groups. We have someone who is a 13-year-old who did some amazing work here. There's an 8th grader, all the way up to one of the people who submitted is close to 80 years old. So such a wide variety of not only topics, subjects, but people who are the photographers.
A judge selected the top 3 entries, and the executive director handed out ribbons at the reception. Receiving a first-place ribbon was Bruce Michelotti of Rochester Hills. It was his first time that Bruce had ever submitted his work for an Orion Art Center show.
Pretty stunned, to tell you the truth. I liked the shot, and I'm glad everybody else did too.
Talk about what went into capturing that image.
Well, I was just walking through the forest. I saw the flower growing. It looked great with the sun shining on it. I set up my tripod and put a little black drape behind it, took a bunch of pictures, and it came out pretty well. I was sort of, a little bit of luck, a little bit of skill.
Normally the exhibits are on display at the Art Center, but this time they decided to show off their art studio at the Moose Tree Nature Preserve.
We have had this venue for about a year and a half. It belongs to the school system, Lake Orion school system, and we came across it about a year and a half ago. It was sitting vacant, unfortunately. They used to do nature classes in here for Weber Elementary, and they unfortunately ran out of funding, so the building sat empty for a while. We heard about it, we came and saw it, and we thought, what a perfect place for art classes. The windows, the lighting in here, the wildlife that's hanging on the wall, it's very creative. People get very creative when they come and take classes here, and it's very relaxing. But I wanted to do the show here this time because a lot of people don't know we have the Moose Tree. They don't know we have a studio. So I wanted to do the show here this time to bring people out here to show them what we have.
The work will be on display at the Art Studio through October 26th. Then the Art Center will begin to prepare for their holiday market, which begins on November 15th. The Art Center is currently looking for artists who are willing to sell their work at the holiday market. For more information, call 248-693-4986 or visit orionartcenter.org. The school district's robotics teams at the high school and middle schools have already proven they can excel at competition. Now they're inviting elementary school students to get in on the fun. Dozens of Lake Orion students gathered at Stadium Drive Elementary to kick off the inaugural season of the district's first LEGO League. FIRST is a national program that inspires young people to develop an interest in science and technology. Lake Orion high schools and middle school teams have excelled at competition, but the district lacked involvement from the elementary schools.
The high school and the middle school teams were really embarrassed last year because we did not have elementary level teams in FIRST robotics. So they made it their mission to see if they couldn't get some teams started this year. So we were hoping to get one of each, and we were able to get mentors for 5 FLL teams and 7 FLL junior teams. So 12 teams total.
Every elementary school student that took part in the kickoff is new to the program. Teams representing each Lake Orion school rotated from station to station, taking part in team building exercises like building structures with Legos and spaghetti noodles. They also stacked cups and created phases of the moon using Oreo cookies.
Really, FIRST robotics is more than just robots. The kids have to work as a team, they have to collaborate. Their ideas, they have to learn how to listen to each other, and that is a huge lesson in the FIRST robotics program. They also learn how to present at their competitions, as well as learn how to build and program robots, because that's what everybody knows, but some people don't realize that it's more than just building the robots.
The teams are encouraged to meet on a weekly basis at their respective schools as they prepare for competition in November. The community will be invited to an expo in December to see the progress the teams have been making during the school year. On August 30th, the Lake Orion Dragons hosted their home opener against the Oxford Wildcats, only to lose the Double O Trophy to their rivals and start off the season 0-2. On September 7th, they traveled to Rochester Adams and came away with a narrow win, 28-24. The Dragons returned home to take on the Troy Athens Redhawks, hoping to even their record. ONTV's Joe Johnson was at the game and has the highlights.
On September 14th, the Lake Orion Dragons hosted the Troy Athens Redhawks under the Friday night lights of Dragon Stadium. The Dragons headed into the game with a 1-2 record, while Athens were still looking for their first win of the season. A nice punt return by Mitch Howell sets up the Dragons at the Athens 41-yard line for their first drive of the game. Just 4 plays later, senior Jack DeBrinket punches it in from the 3-yard line to give the Dragons the lead midway through the first. With 3:41 left in the first, Dragons quarterback Blaze Lauer finds himself backed up against his own end zone. His pass intended for Andrew Van Heck is picked off by A.J. Rasa in return for a TD. The PAT was good and the score was tied at 7. On the Dragons' next drive, facing a 2nd and 5 on the Redhawks 39, Lauer hits DeBrinket, who straddles the sideline to the 15 for a 24-yard gain. With the first quarter winding down and the ball on the 7, Lauer hands off to DeBrinket, who follows his blockers and bowls into the end zone to regain the lead. The extra point was good, 14-7 Dragons. with 6:51 left in the second. Facing a second and goal at the 6, Lauer rolls left and hits a wide-open Kobe Manzo for the score. The PAT was good, and the Dragons take a 2-touchdown lead. Later, with 1:45 left in the half and the ball on the Redhawks 32, Lauer takes the shotgun snap, tucks it in, and darts down the sideline to the end zone. Lake Orion 28, Troy Athens 7. On Lake Orion's first play of the second half with the ball on their own 20, Lauer pulls down a high snap and hands off to DeBrinket, who goes 80 yards into the end zone. But hold on, the Dragons are called for holding, and the ball comes back. A few plays later, with the ball on their own 12, Lauer hits Matt Freeman, who was tackled at the 48 for a 36-yard gain. On the next play, Lauer fakes the handoff, rolls right, keeps it, and takes off, going 52 yards into the end zone. But wait, the Dragons are called for holding again, nullifying the touchdown. The ball is placed on the 32-yard line. On the next play, Lauer pitches it to Matt Freeman, and yada, 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 the ball comes back. Then, on 2nd and 14, Lauer takes the snap, rolls left, and throws deep to Sam Sterich for a 36-yard touchdown. After a wild series of plays, the touchdown stands, and the Dragons take a 35-7 lead. Later, with 3:03 left in the third, the Dragons move the ball to the Athens 30. Lauer rolls left and heaves the ball into the end zone. Freeman out-leaps the defender for the touchdown. The Dragons take a 35-point lead and force a running clock. Athens did manage to score one more TD in the fourth quarter, but it was a little too late, and the Dragons come away with an impressive 42-14 win. We caught up with Coach Blackstock after the game.
I know those first 2 weeks didn't look real good, but it's just really started to build, and we're trying to rotate, as you saw, 3-4 backs in there that are all really capable guys that have different strengths and different skill sets, and taking advantage of those, as well as just trying to use some different personnel groups to get some kids on the field and take advantage of their strengths as well, you know.
In Lake Orion, I'm Joe Johnson reporting for ONTV Sports.
Thanks, Joe. The Dragons went back on the road on September 21st, only to lose to West Bloomfield 42-21 with a 2-3 record. The Dragons traveled to Southfield to battle the Warriors on September 28th before they returned to Dragon Stadium for their homecoming game against Bloomfield Hills on October 5th. We'll have homecoming highlights on our next newscast. Well, that'll wrap it up for this edition. A special thank you to the hardworking news team here at ONTV. I'm Stacy Calloway. Thanks for watching.